Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-Trent. Today we are painting lemons. Yes, lemons it is on Tuesday. It's very popular right now and I figured let's do another lemon tutorial. I have a small mini one that I did for my mini Monday Madness, but this is much larger and much easier to follow, I think, because it's not so tiny. So let's get started. Okay, to get started, I'm just going to go over some of my supplies. I have my Arches 10 by 14 100% cotton paper here. I have my 2H pencil, gum eraser. I have my palette here with my paints in them and some various brushes that I'll go over as I paint. And I'm just going to draw in first the lemons with some branches. I'm just going to lightly draw them in. So basically it's like like a roundish curve with a little curve in the bottom here. See that? And here. I'm drawing a starker, normal. You can see this. And then I'll draw one down here because I always like to do things in threes. Odd numbers, threes, fives, whatnot. You can attach the branch like that. And then we'll have leaves coming up. And then I don't really need to draw the leaves because I'm not going to really, for me, I like to paint, intuitively as I go. I don't really like to have specific composition drawn out unless it's like a really serious thing that I have to do for work. So I draw this in, as I always tell you, and then I go in and take my gum eraser and I take it out. I mean, why do you do that? Well, because I don't want the lines to be really dark. I can still see them, but they're pretty much gone. And why do I use a gum eraser? Because I don't want those little filler pieces running all over the muck. I just love gum erasers. They work great. Mold. You could take them apart. So I've mixed up some paint here. I have the pale yellow here, medium yellow. Oops, you can't see that over here. Pale yellow, medium yellow. I've got my greens that I've always talked about. Pretty much, they're always in the description box. People always ask me what colors I use. I always put them in the description box. I always use sap green, hooker's green. I have medium green. I might add indigo, which I did here, or some yellow in here, some burnt umber, which I have over here. I got paper towel, always right here. I also have a couple of water glasses. I like to keep 2 to 3, 2 definitely, always. Why? One that I put the paint that's on my brush that I want to get rid of in that one, and then I go back and use the other one. It's just plain water if I do want to do wet on wet type of technique and I want to have clean water. It's always good to have 2 glasses minimum. 1, obviously you can have 2, but 2 is the best. Excuse me if my breathing sounds off. I've been sneezing like crazy. I don't know why. Middle of February, who knows what's going on. All right, so we got this drawn in. I'm going to grab, I think I'll grab my Grumbacker. I could grab this brush, which is the Princeton Neptune series, number 12, round. It's got a nice big belly to it. Put some water on there. Grab some of that yellow that I mixed up. Now people ask all the time, when I'm doing wet on wet, why does it like have that little crusty halo? Well, that's because you have too much water on your brush, which I've mentioned many times before. Too much water. I'm going to leave a little halo here as I fill in this lemon. Right here, you see that? Too much water will create that little pigment crust line. And so you don't want to do that. So now this is wet, but it's not super wet. It's soaked into the paper. Oh, you might not even see that. It's soaked into the paper, but it's not super wet. Now I'm going to add a little of this medium yellow, which is more of an orangey yellow, over here on the side. Now see, it's still wet and wet. I'm going to dab some of that off my paper towel. So I'm not getting that, I don't want that crusty line. If I do get it, I could go back in. I'm grabbing some more of the concentrated color, putting it in on the edge. If I do get that, I can go back in and just wet my brush and push it around. Adding some up here. I'm gonna grab some. You could grab, like, lemons, you know, they're greenish, a little yellow, orange, brownish. Depends on how you want this lemon to look. You want it to look bright. Do you want to add a little brown to it, like a little brown umber here on the edge? A little green on top. That could bleed in a little bit. Depends on how you want it to look. So I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to grab the next one. Grab some of that paint. Go in and grab it. It's fairly bright, so if you don't like how bright it is, you can go and add some of that. Just a touch of burnt umber. It's going to darken it up. If you don't have that, you could add a touch of purple because it's opposite color of yellow. The opposites dull it down. Red and green, purple and yellow, blue and orange. Those create also brown, but so I'm just filling this one in also. Very simple. Grab some of that medium yellow. A little of the burnt umber in here. You want to see if I grab the purple. See if I grab a little purple. See, just turned it into brown. A deeper brown. So same thing. You can get a little more orangey if you want to add some medium red. Get in there, just dab in that color. It's pretty wet, so you can get it in there. We can go back in later if we feel like the color is still too bright and not what we like. Lemons are really in right now. They're really popular for home decor, kitchen, or even in your living room, wherever you feel like it. If you have a house in Florida, it'd be pretty to have some citrus paintings. This would make a great gift for somebody. Cheer them up. Who doesn't love a lemon? Again, just filling this in. I'm grabbing some of that medium yellow, which is more of an orange tone. Just washing in that. Grabbing some burnt umber, washing that in on the back side here and the bottom. This is a great big brush to push things around in, which is great. Grab some of this green that I've mixed, tip it on the tip here. Again, I'm just going to keep playing around, washing in the color. If you don't like it this bright, you can dull it down like I showed you. It's a constant trial and error kind of situation, even for people like myself who have been painting since I was probably 5 years old. And yes, that's true. My dad's a fine artist, so I've been painting a long time. And I took life drawing classes in high school before I even went to college. So I've been at this for a while. Okay, so we got basically the 3 lemons. I might want to add in some as I go. And now I'm going to change the brush. This is that brush that I talked about many times that I love. It's this Princeton Neptune 1/2 inch oval, very pointy on the end. It makes some great leaves just by pushing down and pulling up. So I'll get that wet. I'll dab that in my paper towel. I'm going to grab some burnt umber. I'll show you how to mix this over here. So my burnt umber here. I have my crappy brush I'm using to mix this because I didn't activate it as much as I should have. And how you activate it is just add some water to your little pans. See, I'm grabbing burnt umber and I'm mixing burnt umber with black. And then I'll use my nice brush. I have been caught on this platform of using the good brush, mixing paint. Yes, I'm guilty. We all break down sometimes. Anyway, this brush is great. You can use it on the side. You don't have to use this. If you don't have this brush, just find a good brush that has a nice point to it. See, I grab the point. I can pull it, and I can push down and make it fatter and pull back up. You want a brush that snaps back into shape. I like this one. It does it fairly loose, and it does it fairly tight. Again, see, snap it back. And I can make these little skinny lines, and I can make really big ones. Adding some black in there. And I'll show you what I mean by this brush, why it's so great. So I'll clean that off. I've mixed my green. I'll get it on my brush. Grab a little more green here. If I feel like it's too much water on there, I'll take it off on my paper towel. So this holds a lot of paint, this brush. And I've shown you many times, you just basically pushing down, pulling back up, and you've got like this great leaf shape. Just a simple swishy move using this brush. Mixing up some more paint. It's just that simple, pushing down and pulling up. An oval brush should be in your repertoire. I have a couple of them, like I've shown you, some that are pointy, some that are rounded. This is a rounded one. This oval wash brush. See the difference? The rounded one's great for rounded leaves and flowers and petals. This one is a little too wet still, I can feel it, but I think it's still dry on the edge, so I could take this brush and put my back leaf that I want to put behind it down. I have to mix up some more green. That's another thing also. Sometimes you have to mix up a lot of paint on some of these brushes because they hold a lot of the paint, and this paper pretty much soaks it up pretty quickly. So there we go. Grab some of this paint. I'll pull this down. My leaf behind the lemon. And I'll put my other one over here. Again, don't have to follow everything I do here. You do your lemons your way. You could do a whole bunch of lemons. Add a little brown to that, like a stem. You could add the little flower buds also. I'm probably not going to add that here today. I don't have the time. Push this back up so you can see. Put this behind this lemon. Be careful not to get it into the lemon. Especially if it's still wet, it will bleed, and you'll have to go in and fix it. Which I've shown you so many times. You can do that. Get it a little darker from where it meets the lemon. Just adding in some darker tones, just dabbing it. This brush is so great. You make the best leaves with this brush. Now I really like to see how it looks like it could crust in here, If it doesn't, whatever it does, I mean, it did here a little bit. So I could go back in and just paint over that, and you won't see the little crust. But sometimes it's nice to see that. I know people are like, I don't like that little crust, but I like it. A lot of my paintings that I've done for clients that are in major big box stores have that look. It's that look of, you know, hand painted. I think when it's too perfect, it doesn't look hand painted. And nobody really wants that. That's the whole point of getting it, right? So I'm mixing up this darker color up here. So don't worry if it has those little blobs. Obviously, if you want it to be perfect, then worry about it. But I say don't worry about it. And go over that leaf. Now they're looking too monotone to me, so I'm going to grab some yellow, put it in this green here. A little of the brown to dull it down just a tad. And we want a different variety of green. Oop. Guess I didn't clean my brush off, so I'll go back in and add some more yellow. There, now it's clean. And we'll get some more lime colored leaves coming in here. Just to change it up a bit. Oops. I actually missed the paint. Put one behind this green here. And you look around, you step back from your painting and you look around and you say, do I feel happy about the way that it looks? Do I want to add more green? It's basically, like I said, it's a lot of trial and error for everybody. And everybody comes to that realization when they're painting it on their own. That's kind of how it works. Add a little leaf back here. This has a branch that kind of feels like it's ending in the middle of nowhere. Right, and I painted this lime green one, but I think it's not going to work because it looks strange. So I'll go and add some concentrated green. Put a leaf right at the end here and over here. It's kind of how you fix things. So, you know, this is a fairly simple, easy tutorial. Has a nice look to it. And now that I see the lemons are all pretty much dry, if I want to go back in and grab some of that, take a little of this medium red and some orange. And add some more shadow. To the lemons. You can do that. And since this is painted on top of that, you will have a little crusted little edge because the pigment is on top of that pigment. And it's not blended like a wet and wet. But that's kind of like the look I was going for. If I wanted to, I could clean my brush, wet it, and push it around like this. So it will blend. And it won't have that crusty line. But it's all preference. You know, and on the leaves, I don't necessarily think they need to have any veins in them. I think it looks pretty good the way it is, because it's just a simple lemon tutorial. If you wanted to go in and add some veins, I might take one of my long round brushes, grab this darker paint, and you just go in and add a little vein here. But, you know, on the rest of them, I think it's not necessary. I'll darken this one up. And I will darken the branch up. Pretty much, this is a very simple, easy tutorial. I think it looks really pretty. And you can frame this up and stick this in your kitchen, make 2 of them. You can make one that has 3, or one that has a cluster of just 1 with some, if you want to put the flowers in there, the little white flowers, you can do that. But this is such a simple, easy tutorial, really simple, basic. Really, how long was this? Like 10 minutes? You could do it, look great. So I hope you liked this tutorial. If so, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate all of you, and have a great day.